Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request this time for Jack Thompson. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos or topics, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for a Simpsons episode, season 11, episode 3, called Guess Who's Coming to Criticize Dinner? And as I started watching, I'm like, oh, okay, I do remember this episode. This was a fun one. It's a Homer and Lisa one, which are usually pretty endearing. While there's not a lot of big heartfelt Homer Lisa moments like other episodes are, it's still nice to see those two play off each other because they're such opposite of characters, but at the same time as a father-daughter bit. So Lisa putting up with the idiocy of her dad, and her dad at times trying to mean well with his daughter, and almost seems like Lisa's more the parent, and Homer's more of the kid. And there's some funny bits in this as well, because the gist of the plot is the kid's supposed to go to the newspaper called the Springfield Shopper. Actually, yeah, the Springfield Shopper. Because at first Homer gets it wrong, they go to the zoo, and then Bart's like, hey, it's great that we're at the zoo, Dad, but we're supposed to go here. It's like, no. And most animals hear that, they try to leave. So he finally gets the kids where they need to go. But during it, there's a funny bit where they have cursing, but it's done with bleeps. They bleep it out. So he's bleeping someone, and Lisa's like, Dad, that's an ambulance. Yeah, I know. You and your damn siren. Like, you get what he's saying, but you have to have the bleeps there. With your damn siren. They didn't do that too often on The Simpsons. I don't know about nowadays, but back then. So that was kind of risque, but pretty funny. I didn't expect that to happen. I think that was what made it funnier, was that, it's been a long while since I've seen this episode, so I forgot about that, but it was pretty entertaining. And Dan Castellaneta does a good job selling that in the Homer voice. So they get there, see how the newspapers are run. Back in the day when, remember newspapers? Which seems like such an old thought nowadays. Such an antiquated showcase of media, newspapers. I mean, yeah, there's some you can still buy, but just now with computers, it's just not as common. And you have an appearance of Old Deal, the pretty much take on Jack Lemmon from Glengarry Glen Ross. And this kid would pop up in quite a few episodes where he was always trying to sell something, but he was always on his last merits of trying to sell something. And he's always had to embarrass himself in order to try to sell something, or he wouldn't. It was his last chance. Again, very heavily based on Jack Lemmon from Glengarry Glen Ross. I remember that character being featured quite a bit, so it was nice to see him in this. Voice is a good approximation of Jack Lemmon. And there's some funny bits in this. For example, the company I mentioned about the paper and how, we have a percentage of recycled paper in here, and Lisa's like, how many? And then they're like, 0. And Lisa gives a dirty look. And they go, what? 0 is a percentage? 0 is a percent? I guess they're true, 0%. So I just, I thought that was pretty funny. And you have Ed Asner from the Mary Tyler Moore Show, among other films and TV work. He's there, sees that Homer's eaten, and says, hey, I'm looking for a food critic. Okay. He doesn't know how to type, especially, and this is a typewriter, so it's not a computer, it's a typewriter they have. A typewriter where the E doesn't work, so when the E doesn't work, there's not much you can type. He doesn't know how to do it. In fact, he does do it, and they laugh it up as if it's a bad, oh, this is a nice joke. Homer's like, oh, yeah, sure, a joke. But Lisa helps him out, which was sweet of her. And Homer will say, hey, Flanders sucks and this and that, and Lisa rearranges all the words. How do you describe this? She puts it much more sophisticated, so he drools. Drools. What does drool mean? Transcendent. So it was cute to have Lisa help her dad out, and just sweet moment between the two. And pretty much Homer going around being a food critic, of course, loving everything. Thus, everyone's getting fat and fatter. They do take on Planet Hollywood, only it's called Planet Springfield. So you have, I forgot what his name. He plays the character McBain, but I forgot what his character was. And it's supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, but they call him. I forgot what it was. Again, he in the Simpsons universe, he's in these McBain movies. But again, it's supposed to be on Planet Hollywood. So they have like something from Heartbeeps, which is such a rare, just a random film reference of the Andy Kaufman film Heartbeeps. Heartbeeps. They have the Kane from Citizen Kane, and Lisa's like, wait a minute. There's no Kane in Citizen Kane. One is a joke that does not hold up well at all is, and it shows the time this was made, where the Cable Guy had come out, and it was a script for the Cable Guy, and Homer gets pissed at it going, I'm gonna tear you up. You try to ruin Jim Carrey's career. Oh, it's that terrible script for the Cable Guy. So like the kids and Homer are mocking it, and Cable Guy's not that bad of a movie. So that showcases the time period this came out where the Cable Guy had come out and got pretty drizzling shits for reviews. Did not make as much money as they thought, especially for Jim Carrey's big paycheck. And probably considered, after Ace Ventura, his first flop disappointment, so to speak. Then after that he did Liar Liar and The Truman Show and things of that nature. But I like The Cable Guy. I think The Cable Guy is a fun film. I know a lot of people liked it as well, and it's just not nearly as bad as people made it out to be, but that's how people thought at the time. So I would say that's the weakest joke in the episode. That does not hold up that well at all. Hold up well at all. So one day he just called in, and the other reviewers are saying, you're being too kind, you're loving everything, you're giving everything 10 out of 10. You have to be honest, you have to be mean every once in a while. So of course Homer goes overboard, starts being mean. Lisa doesn't like it, she ultimately stops. And Homer tries to type, but he's not doing that well. And he's just being mean, giving mean reviews. I do like when Marge calls him out where Homer, about my palate. Sorry, Marge, my palate is a lot stronger for this food. And Marge literally asks, oh yeah? What's a palate? And Homer's like, why is... he tries to explain, but he does it wrong. I thought that was funny because a lot of times people will use words that sound sophisticated, that sound like it's the right word you should use. Even is the right word you should use, but they truly don't know what the fuck it means. It's just, again, they know that's what you're supposed to say, but again, you're too dumb to know what it actually means. That happens a lot more often than not. It really, truly does. So I thought that's actually pretty spot on moment. And then by the end, the people who got bad reviews, there's a food festival. You have this eclair that has so much fat, but then they put poison in it, and if Homer eats it, he dies. The family hears about it, they try to save him. One joke I liked is that when the guy's making the eclair, like the hitman or whatever, he's putting like the poison and the filling, and then he puts another hose, and he realizes this is the antidote, and he's like, oh shit. He takes it out. Whoops. And of course, Lisa helps save her dad. And he's like, well, Lisa, thank you. And at least I never got my comeuppance. And as soon as he stands up, there's like a row of Not just the food people, but for some reason, Mr. Burns and I guess people who got fat want to beat up Homer. And then even the other critics, for some reason, want to beat up Homer, just for whatever. And then Lisa, as they walked away, Lisa's like, Dad, I know, honey. I know. See, the important thing is, run! And I love the launch of Homer and Lisa running with this gang behind them. And then you hear the Homer getting beat up. Oh no, this is my comeuppance. I actually think it would have been funnier if Homer and Lisa just ran and then it ends and then you don't know whether Homer got his comeuppance or not. It leaves room for your imagination. But the firm that they were hitting him and he was getting his comeuppance, I thought kind of lessened. I know some people probably laughed at that. I thought it actually would have been funnier if you never know and then maybe did Homer get away with it. Uh, that's just a little nitpick. But yeah, it was nice to see this again. Again, got some chuckles out of it. I'm a sucker for the Homer Lisa episodes. Like I said, it might not be as much heartfelt father-daughter moments like other ones, but like I said, it's still sweet to have Lisa help her dad out. I thought they could have gone even further with Homer's mean remarks, but maybe there's also that line of if you go too far, can you make them, you'll make them despicable and not be able to pull back. So maybe there's that line you have to, this tightrope you have to walk on. And like I said, it's fun going back and watching these older episodes, some that I haven't seen for decades now, and a time when I did watch The Simpsons a lot and would have the DVDs over there and would watch them and listen to the commentaries, and then it just got to a point that I just gave up, and I think a lot of people gave up on The Simpsons, and like to be fair, nowadays I don't even know if it's because the quality's just downhill or just there's so many of them I know I would never be able to catch up, or there's something else to the fact of maybe they are good episodes nowadays. It's just seems like a lot of work to just try to get through them because it's never ending. How can I miss you if you never go away? That mentality. But like I said, this was a fun one. So thanks once again, Jack. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.